today's live lab. All right, so we're going to start off with the announcements and then jump right back into some Medicare stuff. First announcement, biggest one is we have no class tomorrow. Enjoy your 3-day weekend in observance of June 19th. We're not going to have classes or any assignments due or anything like that. So we will resume on Monday. And that kind of leads me to our next announcement that Monday is the end of a module. So please bear that in mind. I am going to do my best to have that next module that starts on Tuesday. I'm going to try to have that open for tomorrow. If I can. If not, it'll get open sometime during the weekend, but it'll definitely be open before we start class on Monday. Okay. So module change, let's make sure all of our work is done. And I gotta say, you guys have been doing an incredible job of keeping up with your daily assignments in your labs and showing up. And I just could not be prouder. And thank y'all so much because it makes my job a lot easier when I don't have to continuously go back and make great changes and regrade things and do stuff. So I really, really appreciate it. And it is noticed also by our administration. They have noticed that our attendance rates are going up and that our students are really committed to their educational journey. So good job. Thank y'all for that. So today we are going to continue on talking about Medicare a little bit because y'all are still, we're doing chapter 9, which is all about Medicare reimbursement. We're learning about RVUs and how those apply to the codes that we're using and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do today, I do not have any slides. Yay. We are actually going to jump straight into the Medicare website because this is something that you guys are going to use. And it's whether you specialize in Medicare claims or you just work general for billing or coding, you're going to be using the Medicare website in some form or capacity to find out something somewhere along the line. All right. Now, if you're in the billing department and you work Medicare claims, this is going to be especially beneficial for you. Okay. But everybody should find value in what we're going to do. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Open up a blank one because I kind of want y'all to see just how easy it is to get where I'm going. All right, Miss Elena, can you see my Google screen there?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so I'm just going to go into my bar there and I'm going to type CMS and you can see it auto-populates because I go there on a regular basis. CMS.gov. All right, and that, as you can see, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.gov, not gob, gov. And I'm just going to click enter and it's going to take us straight there. Now, some of y'all may know, some of y'all may not know. Government websites will end with .gov. Generally, if they end with .gov, that's an official website put on by the government, and you can take the information that you find there to bank. Okay, so you can see up here on CMS's website, they have all kind of resources for the medical industry and patients as well. There's a lot of information that patients can get there as well, but I think it's mostly used by us, to be honest. All right, and you can see they have Medicare, Medicaid CHIP, they have marketplace and private insurance, initiatives and training and education. And I'm going to give y'all a little tidbit while we are here. If you click on, I'm not going to do it, but in your free time, go to that training and education tab. There are some free training mini classes. Some of them are maybe like an hour. I think I did a couple that were like 20 minutes long, and it's all about like learning about Medicare fraud. It's learning the policies that Medicare has. And once you complete their little training, watch their little video, and you take like a little 3-question quiz, they issue you a Medicare certified certificate that you have been trained. And I think one of them, what I did was Medicare fraud and abuse. So I have a certificate from Medicare that says I've been trained in their policies on fraud and abuse, and that's free. A free little certificate. Okay. So some free training, a free little certificate that you can attach to your resume. And there's like a bunch of them that you can do depending on how much time you want to spend there. So that's a good tidbit for y'all. And I'm going to tell you right now, all of the instructors have gone through that tab and did every single one of them. Every single one. We do everything, y'all. We do all the things. Anything we can get for free that looks good on us, we're doing it. Doing it. All right. So what we're going to do today, what I want to bring up to y'all, what y'all are going to be using the most. Now, 10 years ago, when I started doing and I did Medicaid. I didn't do Medicare. I specialized in Medicaid billing because I worked for a charity clinic primarily. That's where I started. So I did a lot of Medicaid billing. But with Medicaid and Medicare, y'all have heard and read about fee schedules, right? And that's where you find your pricing information and your RVU information and all of this stuff. So I used to, like I said, a decade ago, every year I would download the new one, the new fee schedule for Medicare and Medicaid, and I would keep it right there in a PDF on my desktop because I used it so much. So I could just minimize my thing and double click right into the fee schedule. And I had the whole thing right there and I could find what I needed really quickly and easily. Now, you don't have to do that anymore. In the past decade, Medicare has updated their website and they now have search tools. So you don't have to download the whole 2 GB document, PDF document that has every code in there created, you know. Now you can search specifically for the one you want and get the deal. So what we're going to do, we're going to go to their search thing and it says, what are you looking for today? And we're going to say fee schedule. We're going to click enter. And the first, it's going to bring us up some different, browse the top 100 results. And you see the top one here, use the physician fee schedule lookup tool to find CPT HCPCS codes. Use the physician fee schedule lookup tool to view adjusted pricing amounts that reflect costs from area to area. You will need to accept the legal terms before searching. And you know that everybody has their terms. All right, and it looks like this one right under it is probably that PDF that I used to download. Physician fee schedule for CMS. Okay. And then it goes on a bunch of different articles and wherever fee schedule is mentioned on the website. But the one that we're going to go to is the very top option, that lookup tool, because that's what I want to show y'all how to use. Oh, y'all, excuse me. I have a tailbone issue going on. Got some soreness. All right. So not fun, not fun. And my chair where I'm sitting right now is not the most comfy, unfortunately. But so if I wiggle around, that's why. All right. So it says on here, PFS lookup tool overview, and you can click on these pluses and get some more information. How does it work? How should I use it? Blah, blah, blah. We're going to jump right in. Okay. We're going to begin search. And it wants you, these are all the terms and conditions. We're going to accept that. Search the physician fee schedule. Okay. All right. So you can see not only does it have this year, we can go back years if we're working on old claims. Remember how I told y'all that Medicare is famous for retroactively going back and doing stuff with claims? So they have prior year stuff. Okay. Going back. Let's see how far they go back. 2000. 26 years. They're going back. Okay. All right. So QPP price indicator. Qualifying alternative payment model, or it's qualifying provider payment or something like that, but that's for non-Medicare approved physicians. We're not going to be non-QPP. We are going to be QPP rates. We're going to want the rates because I guarantee you the doctors that you go to work for are going to be contracted with Medicare. I can almost guarantee it. Almost 99.9%. Okay. All right. So type of information, we'll say all unless we're wanting something specific like just the pricing or just the RVU or something like that. You're going to want, I just stick with all because I like to see everything. All right. HCPCS criteria. You can pick, do you want to search a list, a range, or a single code? We're going to stick with a single code just to keep it simple. All modifiers you can pick because different modifiers may change the pricing of some codes, right? All right. So let me explain for my new students why a modifier might change the pricing real quick. Some of the modifiers indicate a professional component or that extra work was done than what's normally done for that procedure, or that there was another two services were done at one time. So that will change the pricing of something if it's done by itself or if it's normal versus they had to put extra work into it. You know, it would cost more for extra work, right? Makes sense. So sometimes the modifiers can affect the pricing on in the fee schedule and on the codes. For my new students, just a quick little extra there. All right, so I wanted to stick with something y'all had probably seen this week during some of the application activities for Medicare and whatnot. So I went into one of the chapter 9s and I pulled a random HCPCS code for us to work off of. And it was one there was an activity, there was a man that had a contact lens that he needed removed or something like that. And it was a 66920. So we're going to do 66920 in our code box there. I'm going to leave all modifiers. And here's the thing that's going to throw some people off. MAC options. What's a MAC? All right. So a MAC is if I remember correctly, it's a Medicare or Medicaid authorized, what's the C where it's like contractor, Medicare authorized contractor. It's the people who process the Medicare claims, essentially, okay, and process that information. So here's the deal. If you leave it on all MACs, you're going to get, even if you're just doing the one CPT code, you leave it for all MACs, it is going to it's going to list every MAC in the United States. You're going to get like 11 to 12 pages of results from one CPT code. If you use all MACs, you've got to narrow it down to Louisiana. And pro tip, you might ask, well, how am I supposed to know what the MAC is for Louisiana? How am I supposed to know who that is or what that is? Here's the deal. There are two for the state of Louisiana. There's only two entities that process Medicare claims. There are two MACs for our state. Okay. So if you go to work in the state of Louisiana and you're working on Medicare, it's going to be one of the two. All right. So here's the deal. New Orleans has a MAC, their own MAC. And then there's a second one for the rest of Louisiana. Simple, plain and simple. New Orleans has theirs. Everybody else has theirs. Very simple. So what I'm going to do, I don't want every MAC that's in the United States to show up because states like Texas or California have tons, right? They have some really huge cities. They're going to have certain cities are going to have their own MACs, and then other rural parts of the state are going to have their own, right? So we wanted to just look for Louisiana because that's where we are. So we're going to say we want a specific locality. Okay. And the reason I'm saying that is because I want to show y'all the New Orleans one. So if you click here, select MAC locality, so you can do national, but ours, that wouldn't be, we have our own. So we're not going to use a national. Okay. So if I go to type in New Orleans, you'll see they have theirs. It's the second one on the list and it gives you a number, right? All right. But Louisiana, like I said, the rest of Louisiana has its own. And it literally is labeled rest of Louisiana. Rest of Louisiana, 0720299. That's the MAC you're going to use unless you're inside of New Orleans. Okay. So we are going to search fees. We've got our code in there, all modifiers. We know our MAC locality. So we are going to search fees. Bam. And there it is. We have our code 66920, the short description, the extraction of lens, our MAC locality. Here's our non-facility price, our facility price. There's some limiting charges, which I've never really had to deal with those. Like I said, y'all, I didn't really specialize in Medicare too much, so I haven't had to deal with a lot of the nuances of Medicare billing. But you can see down here, you have your RVUs, work RVU, and the information goes on and on and on, essentially. Okay. There's a lot of information that they include in the fee schedules. But when we're looking for this is ideal. All right. And the reason why this is ideal and even better than that PDF that I used to download is because it's the most accurate information. Okay. It's going to be the most accurate information that the government is working off of today. All right. That's it. And they do allow you to see that they have some downloads, download the Excel file for any year, download the CSV text file for any year. Okay. There's different options. So, like I said, this, oh, look, you remember how I tell y'all there's a whole bunch of acronyms in this job? Medicare has its own page that just lists acronyms and explains it. Acronyms under tools. So you can, if you don't know what something is, you're trying to figure out an acronym, you can come to cms.gov and possibly find out on their acronyms page. Okay. So there's a lot of very useful information that you're going to get off of this website. Training, researching claims, stuff like that. Let's see, stop sharing. One of the most recent ways that I've had to use this website was a couple of years ago. I was working for Unitech. Do y'all remember when monkeypox hit? That was a thing for a minute. Monkeypox. I was working for an urgent care clinic. I was their billing manager. I took over their billing because it was a mess. That was the one I showed y'all like maybe last month or something. I had showed y'all a statement that I had got that was incorrect, and I told you I turned it into a job opportunity. That was this. This was this urgent care clinic. So I took over their billing, and then monkeypox hit. So the people that owned it were like, we want to give the monkeypox, be able to give that vaccine when it comes out, you know. And we'd already gotten the shipment of the vaccine. We had the medicine in stock, but guess what? We couldn't bill it because it was so new that there wasn't a CPT code created for it yet. It didn't have a code because it was so brand new. The same thing happened when COVID hit. The new vaccines, new codes had to be created on, in real time. So every day for like 3 weeks, the first thing I did after I logged in I'd go to cms.gov and I'd search monkeypox vaccine and I'd see if they had released a code for it yet. And as soon as they did, I went into my EHR system. I input that code that we'd been stockpiling claims. We were giving out this vaccine, and waiting for the code to come out so we could bill the claims. So as soon as it did, I went in there and I input that code, updated all of our claims, and got them shipped out. But every day I was on this website checking for that release. And unfortunately, guys, that's just the world we live in these nowadays. We have stuff like COVID and monkeypox and stuff that's going to pop up on us in the future. Who knows what, you know? And the medical industry, we've got to adapt and be flexible and be willing to learn and go with the flow sometimes. Sometimes when stuff like that hits, you just gotta buckle up and go along for the ride and see where you end up. Okay. Any questions about CMS.gov or Medicare fee schedules or any of the work that y'all have been doing this week in Chapter 9? Any of the application activities giving anybody trouble? Anything like that?
Nope, I'm still not being able to see what I'm missing on
On the
the
test?
quizzes.
On the
Yep.
quizzes. All right. I'm going to go in this afternoon and take a look at the settings because I thought I can see y'all's answers when I go in and look at it. I thought y'all were able to go back and review them too.
Yeah, but it doesn't show which ones are wrong. So we could see everything we put in, just not which
Not
ones are
what
wrong.
was incorrect. It
Yeah,
doesn't break it
so
down question by question.
yeah,
See,
like
on my end, when I click into your test, I have to click each question individually to see
Mhm.
what y'all like
Does
if
it
you
show
see what
which
you
one we
answer.
missed?
Yeah.
And see, I went through every single one at a time, and it doesn't show the wrong one.
See, and I thought y'all saw it the same way I see it. Because yeah, it does it for me, it breaks it down individually and I can click into each individual question. And it even shows me how long y'all took to answer that question.
Yeah, I was
Like
like, man,
it
how
gives
am
me
I
a whole
supposed to
breakdown.
learn the ones I missed if I can't
Right,
see them?
right. I thought y'all had done that. Or y'all had that functionality on your side. Let me go in and check the settings and see if there is something I need to change. Or
Okay.
something that I need, and I may need to, if I don't see anything today, I can reach out to Cengage support and see if there's a setting that maybe I'm missing or that we could add in or something like that.
Okay.
Because I really did. I thought y'all were able to see it the same way that I could see it.
Right.
But we will definitely look into that, Miss Elena, for sure.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. All right. So I think that's about it for today, guys. I do want to say that I have got a lot of students about to graduate. I had actually 8 of y'all this week. I don't know if y'all are going to tune in for today's meeting or not, but I had 8 of y'all graduate, 4 graduate, and I had 4 that are going into like their last modules and about to graduate. I've got 2 or 3 that finish on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday when we come back is their last day. And just congratulations, guys, on all the hard work. And just good luck to y'all if y'all did tune into this one. I'm super proud of all of you. And y'all are going to go on to do amazing things. And I can't wait to see what you accomplish. So with that said, everybody have a great long weekend. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye.